We're going to try to make it a quick and fun half hour. Hey, by the way, I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations to all the speakers this morning. Maybe a big round of applause would be appropriate for everybody. And Ken and John, et cetera, thanks for having us up here. So we're talking about platform today, and I couldn't be up here with a better guy. So again, as Ken mentioned, I'm Vice President of Relationship Marketing. Been at ExactTarget about 10 years. I manage the communications with our customers, our voice of customer programs, the deliverability team, client enablement, et cetera. And I'm here with a technologist, Ian Murdock, which is new and unusual, I think, here. But Ian is uniquely qualified to talk about platform because Ian has a long history with it. So prior to ExactTarget, he was at Sun Microsystems, where he led their developer strategy and marketing programs. He also was the CTO of the Linux Foundation. And back when he was just a kid at Purdue, he wrote an operating system called Debian, which is a Linux-based operating system, which is now adopted by millions of users worldwide. So happy to have Ian here today. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you.
So many of you in the audience are familiar with ExactTarget, and we have many customers and many partners and many friends in the audience, and it's great to be back here at the Insider Summit. I think I've been to 6 myself. This is my 3rd, at least, here in Utah. This is just a selection of the brands that we power. Been a big year for ExactTarget. We went public back in March, and that means a lot of great things, and it's been really transformational for the company. Allows us to plow lots more money into research and development across email, mobile, social, and sites, and building out our platform and our what we call our interactive marketing hub, which enables cross-channel marketing communications for customers. But one of the downsides of going public is this, the safe harbor statement. So Ian and I are going to talk about our software today, and we're going to make some comments about software that's not yet in market. So when you're looking at ExactTarget, if you're an investor, please judge us and make your investment decision based on what we have in market today. Now that that's out of the way, how many people thought we were talking about this today? This kind of platform, anyone? Dennis, probably, yeah. We're not talking about that kind of platform today. We're also not talking about this. We're not talking about fossil fuels, Lauren. And if we have more time later on, talk to Lauren McDonald about the evils of fossil fuel. I'm with him, by the way. Okay, so what we're talking about today has more to do with the challenge that marketers have. And you've heard this multiple times today, talked in different ways, but consumers are multi-channel, right, kind of inherently now. And a brand is really the sum of all conversations that are taking place about you. And most marketers have not evolved and gotten there yet because we're struggling, I think, to find the right tools. And we're really to a stage now, and I think a number of people have put their finger on it, marketers need a better way to connect with consumers across all channels at scale. So how do you do that, right? And that's the challenge. So back to research that supports this. So Forrester, in the new campaign management update, how interactive marketers should rethink traditional approaches to campaign management, their research basically said the same thing, right? This is what marketers are thinking about right now. There's a need for speed. There's the need to meet the consumer in real time in the right channel that they're interacting with the brand. There's the need for integrated campaign management. So how do I communicate with customers across multiple channels, and how do I integrate that together? Because again, the consumer expects you to know them, right? They think, know me, I just interacted with you at one of your stores. You should know that when you send me an email or when you send me a text message. Consumers have evolved to that level of what they expect from marketers. And there's a fragmented data puzzle. So there's a slide that we often show that shows data floating through a sea of fish and things like that. And that's the challenge now in many organizations, is they struggle to bring all their disparate data sources together from CRM systems, et cetera, to make it truly actionable. And because of that, ROI haunts marketers. Not that you're not getting ROI, especially through email, which is still super powerful, and it's the connective tissue of everything, but you know that there's more to be had, and you're trying to figure out how you get it. So back to how that interacts with platform, and what I think we mean from platform from a marketer's perspective is The iPhone is a great example. So the iPhone, the smartphone in general, has been hugely transformative for the consumer. And when it came out, it only did like 4 or 5 things, right? But now it does 800,000 things because it's a platform and you have apps that are built on top of it. So with that, I'm going to finally turn it over to Mr. Technology here, Ian, to tell us more about what he means by platform.
Yeah, so platform is one of those terms that tends to be used to describe all manner of things. I think I've heard it, I don't know, I lost count of the number of times I heard it this morning. When we say platform, we actually, at ExactTarget, we actually refer to a very specific thing. And maybe it's because, you know, I'm a technologist and technologists tend to be pedantic, but when we say platform, well, actually, let me start with this. So it's easy to wrap your head around a marketing solution as an application that you log into and create emails and create lists and send emails to those lists. But, you know, underneath, you can think of that application as being powered by a rich collection of services. And when we say platform, we actually mean those services are exposed to third parties. So customers, partners can build upon the same technologies that we use to build our solutions. So that's really what we mean when we say platform. Or back to the sea of fish thing, the platform is the thing that floats on the sea of fish and keeps it from sinking. Yeah.
Got it. So we've been doing integrations for a long time, so back since 2002. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so if you look at the history, ExactTarget has actually been in the platform business going back well over a decade. We launched our first API, as you can see here in the picture, in 2002, and that API was used by the Portland Beavers, yes. And since that time, actually, let me define API. I've heard it a few times, just to make sure we're all, you know, on the same page. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It's essentially a way for disparate systems to talk to each other programmatically. So you can think of code in one system talking to code in another system. And code is something that's infinitely flexible. I mean, far more flexible than a human being sitting at an application clicking buttons. So you can, by definition, do some, you know, very sophisticated, very powerful, very flexible things with APIs. And sort of back to platform at ExactTarget, we've continued to invest in our platform aggressively over the course of the past decade, adding additional APIs, adding to the breadth and depth of our platform, adding content scripting capabilities, AmpScript being a good example, that enables technical marketers to create those highly relevant targeted messages that we've been talking about all morning.
What do you mean by AmpScript, Ian?
So AmpScript is basically, it's a scripting language, and if you're a marketer and you're technically sophisticated enough, you can use it to create emails or landing pages that create highly dynamic content that taps into data sources from a variety of different places.
Cool. So tell me more about how marketers use our platform.
Yeah, so marketers use our platform in a number of different ways, and as we take a step back and look at those ways and try to categorize them, what we find is they fall into basically 3 main categories. The first is integration. So you think about, you know, what do you have to do to create highly targeted or highly relevant targeted messages? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to understand something about your customers, the people to whom you are sending those messages. And the challenge is that information lives in, you know, numerous different places, disparate data sources all over the place. So one of the key challenges that the integration capabilities of our platform provide to our clients is the ability to take CRM data and data from content management systems, web analytics systems, databases all over the place, even in many cases custom-built internal systems, and bring them together to really maximize the benefit of their marketing campaigns. So an example of a client that uses our platform in this way is CDW, the leading provider of technology solutions. And essentially what they do is they provide ExactTarget with a variety of data feeds, and then take those data feeds and essentially merge them into what you could think of as a unified contact database that contains information about everything that they know about their customers. So their customers' preferences, interests, previous purchase behavior, that kind of thing. They also feed us product data and then use AmpScript, which we talked a little bit about earlier, to merge the contact data with product data to create very relevant product recommendations to each of the subscribers to which they're sending those messages. And I like the CDW example in particular because it shows the flexibility of our platform. It's very powerful. It offers a very large number of capabilities. CDW actually does its own segmentation, does its own analytics, and because our platform is flexible, they can basically pass in a code that tracks the various things that are happening in their system through our system back into theirs. So very, very flexible in our platform.
Cool. So I know marketing automation is important. Do you have an example of that as well?
Yeah, so automation is the next big category. And thinking back to what is an API? Code in one system talking to code in another system, code being infinitely flexible. Our automation capabilities enable our clients to do things that simply wouldn't be possible to do manually with a human being sitting in front of an application. Enable marketers to do things in real time and in response to customer interaction. So sort of a transactional triggered email being a really good example. So if you have a customer purchases something, you want to send them a receipt. If you have a user that clicks on forgotten my password, you want to send them a password reminder of some sort. And we have many clients that use our triggered email capabilities to do things like that. But beyond that, these kind of triggered emails are really touch points between our clients and their customers. And some of our most sophisticated marketers use those touch points to basically drive additional engagement. Redbox being an example that we like to think about. So whenever you go to a Redbox kiosk and rent a DVD or return a DVD, if any of you have ever done that, I'm sure many of you have, you know that you get a receipt, and the receipt has details about your transaction. But similar to CDW, Redbox provides us data, which essentially enables those transactional details to be augmented with an offer. You might also like this movie. Come back next Friday and get 5% off your next rental. So using that touch point as an opportunity to drive deeper engagement.
Cool. And I know you have a more unique
yes.
example as well with applications.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about applications in a little bit. But we just wanted to highlight that we have many clients who use our platform to build entire applications. So several of our clients operate on a franchise model. They've used our APIs and our platform to build very streamlined, very tailored, in some cases locked down entry points into our capabilities that they can then give to their potentially less sophisticated franchisees to use. We even have an entire program, actually, called the Embedded Partner Program, built around the same concept, where if you're a marketing ISV and you want to easily add email marketing capabilities to your application, you can use our platform to do that. And we highlight this here because we have big things that we're going to be talking about here in just a few minutes related to our application capabilities, but clients are doing this in large numbers today.
Cool. So this is a good place to start, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's coming next? So to this point, we've talked largely about email, which makes sense because we've historically been an email service provider. The platform that we've offered for over a decade is an email platform. The APIs that we've offered as part of that platform are essentially APIs into our email application. We've been investing very, very heavily over the course of the past few years in adding cross-channel capabilities, as Chip referenced earlier, to not only our application set, but to our platform. So the cross-channel capabilities basically take the form of a piece of software that we call the Interactive Marketing Hub. And as Chip mentioned before, my background is operating systems, so I tend to think of things in those terms. And I like to think of the Interactive Marketing Hub as sort of an interactive marketing operating system. So it's an application container, really, and you can see on the left there's a number of different applications within that container, some related to channels like email and mobile and social, and some tools which enable you to tap into a common platform underneath these applications to understand the various interactions that are happening across all those different channels and how they relate to each other. So the Interactive Marketing Hub provides not only this application container, but also a set of services, common data platform, common calendaring and planning and campaign management capabilities, real-time dashboard for viewing interactions as a result of the messages that you're sending in real time across all channels. And like the email application, there's a very powerful and flexible platform underneath that we call Fuel. So what we are doing with Fuel is essentially exposing the capabilities of the Interactive Marketing Hub as services to third parties so that clients, partners can use the same platform technologies that we've used to build the hub and that we've used to build our hub applications. So if you think about Fuel, very, very high level, how does it impact marketers? Two main answers to that question. So first of all, it's a set of APIs, and it's a set of cross-channel APIs. So again, largely our APIs to this point have been email related. With Fuel, we've added SMS APIs, push APIs, social APIs, a number of APIs for these sort of cross-channel analytical purposes.
Yeah, I mean, so this year we've launched Mobile Connect.
Yes.
Right, which is a mobile application that sits on top. So do you have an example inside of the mobile that you could talk about?
Yeah, so a good example there, Mobile Connect, we launched it in May. Family Dollar's a client of ours, uses Mobile Connect to manage what they call their family savings plan. It's basically a way for their customers to opt in to receive SMS messages related to in-store promotions on certain brands, certain products. So they use the Mobile Connect application, which is based on the Fuel platform, and also on their website, where you sign up for the family savings plan. That website is actually making API calls through Fuel APIs back into ExactTarget to basically register the fact that this customer is interested in receiving these SMS campaigns.
Got it. What if I want to build something on my own? Is that possible?
Yes, remarkably enough, it is. Okay. We didn't rehearse this or anything.
As luck has it.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow, how fortuitous that you would mention
Unbelievable.
that. So that's the second thing. The second thing is we've opened the Fuel platform, because again, it's not a platform unless it's open for third-party development. We've also opened the hub so that you, our clients, our partners, anyone can build applications for the hub that live alongside our applications, take advantage of the same platform capabilities, and deeply integrate with the hub. So I talked earlier about applications. We have many clients, many partners that have built entire applications on top of our platform. The hub is the next generation of our application strategy. So let me give you a quick example of an application that we've built. This was something that early on in the development of the platform, I have a passion for building easy-to-use products, and it's not always easy to build an easy-to-use enterprise development platform. In fact, they're notoriously difficult to use. And I challenged my team to go off and build an application and tell me how long it takes for you to do that. And as Chip mentioned, I'm a technologist, I'm not a marketer, and the best thing I could come up with was build an application that takes email opens and clicks and puts it on a Google map and make it fully interactive. So something that's nice and visual, that people can really appreciate the power of the platform once they see it. They went off, they built it in about 3 days, so I was really happy about that. And they even went beyond what I'd asked them to do. They added cross-channel to the solution. So instead of mapping email sends, they're mapping entire campaigns. And in the screenshot that you see here, those campaigns only contain email sends. But one of the other things that they've done more recently is add a Twitter or tweets to that as well, so you can see both email opens and clicks and tweets. And the other thing I want to point out here is that this is a live application. It's operating on real data. You interact with it much the same way you would interact with a Google map. You can pan around the map, you can zoom in and zoom out. Here's a campaign that's regional. You can zoom in to the region around the Washington, D.C. area and see what's happening. And I think the really exciting thing here, for me at least, is as we built this out, every time we looked at it, we thought of like 10 more things that we could add to this. You can imagine, adding a time-lapse element to it, where you could see almost like a replay version, email opens and clicks and tweets happening, parts of the country lighting up from East Coast to West Coast as those interactions are happening. We have a real-time streaming API that could be hooked into the back of this, so you could actually sit down and watch these interactions happening in real time. And what that tells me is that, just starting with a very basic example from someone who is admittedly more of a technologist than a marketer, there are probably thousands of use cases that we haven't even considered, back to the Apple analogy. I mean, could you imagine that Apple ever foresaw that one of the most popular apps built for their platform was going to be birds being flung at pigs using rubber bands? I mean,
Yeah.
That's the true power of platform. Is you open it up and you see what happens, and often the most remarkable things do happen.
Right. So I think that's a great transition to Hub Exchange. And so, as Ian said, I think clearly when iPhone launched it, they would never have gone out and built themselves a Angry Birds app, right? That wouldn't be the first thing that they would do. And there are probably thousands of use cases that we haven't thought of. One software company can't build it all, right? So how do we enable marketers to really truly have an interactive one-on-one experience with their customers? And our solution is Hub Exchange, and Ian's going to tell you more about that.
Yeah, so that was sort of a fundamental realization at one point, that the cross-channel marketing automation landscape is vast. And there's no way that ExactTarget, no matter how big we become, are going to be able to fill all of those needs ourselves. So we're going to, as I said, open the platform and basically build out a partner community of solutions around our core technologies. And this kind of strategy is a, forgive the cliche here, but it's kind of it's a win-win-win proposition for everyone. It's a win for our partners, because we are clearly delineating the areas in which we intend to compete in the marketplace, creating opportunity for our partners to come in and build complementary solutions that work hand in hand with ours. It's a win for our clients, because they get more capabilities out of the ExactTarget offering. And it's a win for us, because the more complete those capabilities are, the more likely it is that we win the deal.
Right. So this is kind of how you'd sum it up.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So if you think about Hub Exchange, it's really two things. And to be confusing, I'll go from right to left here. And I'll talk about the partner program first. So Hub Exchange Partner Program launched at our Connections User Conference in October. We're now working with a little over 100 partners, some of them existing partners, some of them new partners, to build hub apps like you saw in one of the earlier slides. So we're really bootstrapping the ecosystem at this point. The second thing that Hub Exchange is a product. You can think of it as an app that you can go to.
Like an app store.
Like an app store, right? Kind of like on your iPhone, the App Store presents itself as an app you can tap on and go in and browse all the apps that are available for the iPhone. The Hub Exchange, you'll be able to do the same thing within the Interactive Marketing Hub and browse all the apps that are available for the Hub.
Cool. So you said hundreds of partners, so I know we have an example here to share. Tell us more about this one.
Yeah, so one of the partners we're working with today is a company called Windsor Circle. Windsor Circle essentially provides prepackaged integrations between email platforms and e-commerce platforms. And essentially what this enables marketers to do is to basically map e-commerce data and make those insights actionable. So for example, taking a look at your e-commerce data and understanding the subset of your customers that might be considered high value but unengaged. So a customer that might have bought a lot from you 6 months ago but hasn't purchased anything in 6 months. This is an opportunity for you to send those subset of customers an email saying, we miss you, here's a 10% off your next purchase, and attempt to reestablish the engagement there. So that's just one example of many things that we're building.
Okay, so if I'm a marketer and I'm inside the hub, what does this look like to me?
Yeah, so this here is the Hub Exchange app. So basically, you can think of it as the catalog in which you can browse and find apps. It is fully interactive self-service. You can, within the catalog, click on a button. You'll see a screen that looks something like this. And within a matter of minutes, you can go from browsing the applications that are available to actually having those applications in your account, fully integrated with the applications that we provide and that our partners provide, which would be this.
Yeah, so that's like once it's live in the hub.
That's right.
Got it. Anything else you would add, Ian, before I get to the?
No, I think we pretty well covered it.
Okay. So as luck would have it, we have other people in the audience. One of the people in the audience is Andy Falkenstein. Andy, can you stand up? So Andy is the product manager for Hub Exchange. And so he's sort of our live in-person call to action. Talk to Andy. So, and he'll be around for the next couple of days and a dinner tonight. We also have Christy Weymouth, who's on our business development team. And a lot of you guys have met Christy. But we'll definitely be around. So if you're a marketer and you're interested in learning more about it, talk to one of us. If you're a partner, if you're a third-party developer, if you just have an idea for a hub, Exchange product, email Hub Exchange or talk to us about it. If you're a developer or if you have a developer that would be interested in this, you can send them to code.exacttarget.com, and there's more information there for developers about the Fuel platform and about Hub Exchange. Anything you would add to that, Ian?
No,
okay.
I think you said it all.
Okay, groovy. Okay, I don't know how we did for time. It felt like about right, John. But we do have some time for Q&A as long as the questions aren't too hard and we get out skiing soon. Okay. Oh, wonderful. Dennis Damon is first.
Don't you have to know the questions before they're asked to you? Okay, that's a joke. Here we go.
Hey, Chip. I'm just curious about the numbers of, or I guess either verticals or numbers. I know that a lot of companies are doing similar things like this, and they may do like webinar plugins and, I don't know, data cleansing plugins. How do you guys, or do you guys do that sort of setup where you have different verticals? And, I mean, can you give some insight to kind of what you guys have in that hub right now? To make sense?
So what we have in terms of apps for Hub Exchange?
Yeah, like social media and this.
I think Ian could speak to some of the things that we're thinking about and partners we're talking to.
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of the apps that we're building with our partners, we have some partners coming to us. I mean, we have many partners going back very, very long time, and a lot of those applications that have been built. One thing I didn't mention is it's really easy to build these things. You don't have to rewrite your application. In many cases, it's just a matter of augmenting it with Fuel API calls and pulling it into the hub. So it's really easy to move existing applications in. And we're also reaching out, kind of looking at, as I mentioned, we're being very precise about where we intend to compete in the marketplace and where we don't. So we're proactively reaching out to partners that we know are going to, represent the fastest path to having the broadest offering possible. So we are taking a very, vertical and solution-centric approach. A few examples of some of the other things that we're building. Just sort of a data analysis. One very interesting application that we're working with a partner to build basically takes subscriber data in the form of email address and cross-correlates that with a variety of demographic databases. So at least in the aggregate, you could segment your subscribers into most valuable, most engaged, however you want to think about it, and then pass that segment into this application to learn a little bit more about them. So these people are in their 20s, they live in urban areas, they are single, they like to buy furniture, so it can kind of inform the sorts of things that you're sending to them. There's a whole host of other things, data integrations, advertising, even near and dear to my heart, development tools. So we talked about AmpScript. It is very powerful, but like all powerful things, it has sharp edges to it. And if anyone here has ever written any code, you know that oftentimes the proper tools take those sharp edges off by doing things like code syntax highlighting and code completion and that kind of thing. And it's kind of, this is always something that we've wanted to do, but we've just never had the cycles to do. And it's one of those win-win-win things I was referring to.
And I would add, Dennis, I mean, there's a lot of people in this room that we've talked to, obviously, that are not ESPs, but play in the space around all of us, that we're interested in talking to, because our customers are interested in having their products, nearby their use of our tool.
One more question back here.
My name is Jeff Cloud from General Growth Properties in Chicago. We own shopping centers. I just have a silly curiosity question. As far as all the channels that you offer, the email, mobile, push, social,
Yep.
what percentage of your clients would you say are using the full gamut, the full spectrum?
I can't communicate specific numbers, I don't think, here. But we do have hundreds of people that use our mobile and our social applications. So, and obviously most every customer that works with us is using email as well.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that the vast majority at this point are using email. What we are finding, new clients coming in those other channels, and ultimately finding their way from whatever that entry point is to other channels as they get into the hub and see the kinds of cross-channel capabilities that it has to offer. But details beyond that, I don't think we're in a position to share.
Right.
Okay, Chip and Ian, we're out of time. Thank
We're
you
out of time.
very, very
Awesome.
much.
Thanks, everyone.
And I believe there's other ExactTargeters here. So if you got